They are not having any outstanding player that you'd say you would bank on him. And then also, even in terms of teamwork, they are not really the team that could work as a unit. So I don't think that there's going to be much resistance on Nigeria.
All right, so there we go. I think both men there are suggesting. Okay, David, just to come to your prediction for Cameroon, you said it was going to be tough, but how do you think things will pan out in terms of a scoreline?
1-1 draw.
And Simba, Algeria, Angola scoreline?
I think a 2-0 win for Algeria. But for Cameroon and Guinea, I'm putting my man on Guinea.
Today's local news on the Daily Sports Zone.
All right, let's come back home now, talking some transfer news when it comes to Zimbabwean local football. Highlanders have confirmed in a statement released on their social media pages today that veteran midfielder Raman Kutsanzira has left the club after his contract was not renewed when it expired last month. Boso had already moved to replace him, signing Marvin Sibanda from Little Rock Rangers FC in the United States over the weekend. The 25-year-old central midfielder signed a 3-year-long contract with the Bulawayo Giants. Very surprising length of contract there, David. Last week we were talking about the fact that Zimbabwean clubs, shall we say, are reluctant to hand out more than a year-long contract. Here they've given a player 3 years. Very, very surprising. Is it a vote of confidence in his talent that he's that good that they want to lock him down for so long?
It's not surprising. With the Islanders, they've been doing that for ages. If you look at most of their players, normally they don't move. By the time they move, I think it's more to do with finances, So some of them, they just run down their contracts. Imagine when was Mpongeni Ndlovu started playing for Islanders. He just had to run down his contract. Peter Mdua, they had to tie him down again. Andrew Mbeba, they had to tie him down again. Those that have been released, I think it's more to do with their age. In Zimbabwe, it's about age nowadays. So many messages that I'm reading here. New blood. I don't understand though, because some fans, they feel good every season. Players, but for me, I think Highlanders tying down a 25-year-old on a 3-year contract, I think they agreed exactly, what they wanted. Obviously, maybe the coach said, I want him for the next 3 years. So which means he has to develop Kelvin Kayindo. He has to develop his own team. He has to bring in his own team. Because most of those guys that were there at Islanders, you'll find Kutivango Vachaenda, maybe with the style of play that Kayundu wants, maybe he doesn't need those guys that he has been released.
All right, when it comes to Dynamos as well, right here in Harare, they've signed left back Nomo Chinyerere, who was released by FC Platinum. Dimbare also signed a goalkeeper, Tatenda Makoni, who was with relegated Cranbourne Bullets. Now, Namibian Sydney Urikob arrived over the weekend to sign for Dimbare. Malawian Hassan Kajoke from their champions Nyasa Big Bullets expected to arrive anytime this week. Vice captain Emmanuel Jalai renewed his contract. Ghanaian midfielder Emmanuel Paga also managed to sign a new deal to stay at Dimbare. Simba, talk to me about Nomo Chinyerere as well as Tatenda Makoni. Of course, it's just the start of Dynamo's business. Suggesting to you that they are going for the title again. I don't think a lot of fans will say those are very exciting signings at the moment.
Yeah, every year Dynamos must go for the title. I think, for every year they have to bring in players who are supposed to add value to the team. And just looking at the players that they've also brought in, Nomo Chinyerere is good, no doubt about his talent. I think the reason why probably he was let go by FC Platinum was because of some off-field things more than what he can deliver on the field of play. And then you have Tatenda Makoni, one of the most upcoming goalkeepers. He is good, and I think he's going to give Prince Tafremos a good run, or if not, he's going to also claim on that number 1 spot at Dynamos. And then Urikob, yes, I just looked at his history. Amazulu Young Africans didn't stay there. Most of his time was spent in Asia, playing in Thailand mostly, and then went to Indonesia. And you look at the likes of Paga, that they've renewed their contracts. Yes, and also just been hearing that about trying to get Neva Tigere, but there are also reports emerging that he might be going to engage the Platinum Stars. Yes, they've also released Brendan Mpofu, and there are reports that Brendan Mpofu might also be going to Chicken Inn because they also want him. And you spoke about Islanders. They've also released Eshama Faras. His loan spell was not renewed, so probably is going to go to Bulawayo Chiefs. And then there is also Andrew Tandy. His contract was renewed by a year at Highlanders.
So that's the latest transfer news coming from the two biggest clubs in the country, arguably Dynamos and Highlanders. Some of your messages here on the WhatsApp platform before we talk cricket. Anzi, Mr. Maketo, Ticha Gireo, striker ku Caps United, Uko. Drink water, Padema. I think David is listening to you loud and clear. Anzi, I suppose...
Can I reply that?
Not yet. Anzi, I suppose team Pasua na mapeza. Wakwanise kuita coach ma Warriors because waka news wa mari akawanda nezifa. Yema salaries, I think we've talked about that one a lot. Tige the Plumber and Volayo, and I was heartbroken with the Chevrons loss. They had fought hard. Luke Jongwe did well with the bat, but he chose to donate those runs when he bowled. It was 1 and then +1 to make it was -1 and then +1 to make 0. Otherwise, great team improvement. I hope we win both of the remaining matches. We'll talk about that match very soon. Good evening, sports team. I have a question to our so-called Warriors ex-players, the likes of Musona Kama. Why are they quitting playing for the Warriors? Check the likes of Kulimbali, Deli Ali, to mention a few. They're still playing for their nations. That's true allegiance and their patriotic food for thought with these so-called ex-players. Mbomapa, Warren Park, still hoping that Musona and Billiard come back. And then last one for now, Anzi Onana should not feature for Cameroon at this tournament at all.
This is football.
Football! I think we have a winner.
Loser. The news is our life. Did you hear what the weatherman said?
Ready for It's the complete radio sports show. The Daily Sports Zone is on right now.
All right, talking some cricket yesterday. Of course, Tige the Plumber was talking about the heartbreaking loss that Zimbabwe suffered yesterday. They narrowly lost the first T20 of their 3-match series against Sri Lanka by 3 wickets in a thriller that went to the final ball. Chevrons making 143 for 5. Sikandar Raza scoring 62 of those runs off just 42 balls. We then had Sri Lanka down at 83 for 6 after 14 overs. But a 55-run partnership between Dashun Shanaka and Angelo Matthews dragged the hosts back into the game before they got over the line when they needed 2 runs off the final ball, breaking Zimbabwe hearts yet again. Yes, a few questions now were raised about the captaincy that Sikandar Raza showed there in the field, his field placing, as well as his choice of bowlers at various points of those Sri Lankan innings. I think ended up losing us the match. Very, very tough one to take, considering we had them down at 83 for 6 with just 6 overs to go. We should not have been losing that match. But yes, shall we say some experience there for Sikandar Raza. He is our talisman, but he is also still learning on the job when it comes to being a captain. Very tough loss for us there. I don't think maybe many of us are too surprised we lost, but maybe I guess just the circumstances always make things very difficult. Anyway, the second game is on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. Sri Lanka lead the series 1-0. When it comes to the local scene, Rhinos thrashed Tuskers by an innings and 40 runs on Saturday in the Logan Cup. A win set up by Antum Nagvi. He became the first batter ever to record a triple century for any Zimbabwean team, scoring exactly 300 not out in Rhinos' first innings. Tuskers then bowled out for 370. Hamid Ali and Nkosana Mpofu's centuries, not enough to prevent a defeat there. Elsewhere, Tadiwa Marumani's unbeaten 144 saved Eagles from defeat to the Mountaineers. Eagles batting all of Saturday to reach 443 for 9 and salvaging that draw. So as things stand at the top of the Logan Cup, Mountaineers have 68 points. In second, we find Rocks with 57. Third place is Eagles with 54, while Rhinos have 53 in fourth. At the very bottom, Tuskers with 37. So, of course, you are listening to the Daily Sports Zone right here on Star FM, your first choice for sport. The Daily Sports Zone proudly brought to you by Copy Spare Parts Distributors. Our product range includes suspension components, service kits, engine components, lubricants, timing components, brake and clutch components, body parts, as well as accessories. You can contact us on our website. That's www.copyspares.co.zw. Our Facebook page is Copy Spare Parts Distributors. At Twitter or X, you can find us at Spares Copy. LinkedIn is Copy Spare Parts Distributors, and we're even on TikTok at Copy Spares. Hurry now to Copy Spares and experience our world-class service at affordable prices. Copy Spares, hashtag making the whole nation drive.
This is World Sport on the Daily Sports Zone.
Okay, we start off the world news with tennis. The first Grand Slam of the year underway. The Australian Open into day 2 now in Melbourne. In the ladies singles section, 4-time major winner Naomi Osaka, playing in her first Grand Slam match since giving birth, was beaten in straight sets by 16th seed Caroline Garcia from France. US Open champion Coco Gauff easily brushed aside Anna Shmidlova in straight sets, as did Tunisian Ons Jabeur, who beat Ukrainian Yulia Starodubtseva. In the men's draw, third seed Daniil Medvedev threw after his French opponent Terence Atman retired injured when he was down by 2-1. Seventh seed Stefanos Tsitsipas needed 4 sets to get past Belgian Zizou Bergs, but sadly 3-time Grand Slam champion Andy Murray already out, losing in straight sets to Argentine Thomas Martin Echeverry. Okay, let's talk some English Premier League football now. The weekend may have featured just 5 matches. Half of the league, of course, is enjoying its mid-season break. But the weekend still served us up with 2 thrillers.
De Bruyne. Oh, he's picked out Oscar Bob! City win it! KDB! A goal! An assist!
Now here's Rashford. United coming on strong again here. Rashford! He's done it! Marcus back in the goal-scoring groove at Old Trafford.
Bentancur on the edge. Werner finds Bentancur. 2-2!
Indeed, it finished 2-2 at Old Trafford there. Tottenham Hotspur scoring 2 equalizers to get their 2-2 draw against Manchester United. On Saturday, Kevin De Bruyne made a stunning return to Premier League action for Manchester City. They came from behind, 2-1 down to beat Newcastle 3-2 at St James's Park. The Belgians scored City's second and then set up their last gasp winner with a sublime pass in behind there for Oscar Bob. And then finally, Chelsea edged Fulham by a 0-0, making it 3 wins in a row for the Blues and Mauricio Pochettino. Simba, I want to start with you when it comes to Kevin De Bruyne's return now for Manchester City. People have been talking about his return for a long time now. They're now just 2 points off the top of the table. They're chasing down Liverpool, but they have their playmaker back, and they still have Erling Haaland to come back as well from injury. Is this the start of that 14-15 game winning streak that City always produce in the second half of the season to end up winning the Tidewater Canter?
Yeah, for Kevin De Bruyne, it's not about the talent alone, but also the brains, because the way that he can also dictate pace, the way that he can also manage the game. And, after just coming on, you saw what he did. And for me, I think it's a season that... like you put it, that it's a season that we are going to see them going on a lengthy run without a defeat. And in terms of depth, they also have the depth. But for Kevin De Bruyne, I think he is one of the best midfielders of this generation, and he is going to have a telling influence in as far as we is going to get the league title in the English Premier League, and it's going to be Man City.
David, when it comes to Manchester United, should they be embarrassed that they were outplayed, almost played off the park? Yes, it finished 2-2, but they were outplayed by a Tottenham Hotspur's team that's missing half of its starters. They did not have James Maddison there. Son Heung-min was not there. So many of their key players, Pape Sarr was not there. Pape Mate Sarr was not there. Bissouma was not there. They were outplayed by a Tottenham Hotspur team missing almost a half of their starters. Should Manchester United be embarrassed? Eric Ten Hag there still, shall we say, fighting for his job.
Yeah, he's still fighting for his job. And if you look at Tottenham Hotspur, I think there's depth in that team, considering all the players that you talked about. Some of them they're injured, some of them they're away at the AFCON, Asian Games as well. So, yeah, Tottenham, I think going down 1-0 in the second minute, they never changed their style of play. They kept on playing the same way they've been playing this season. High line, high pressing. Whenever they get the ball, they try to penetrate from wide areas. They knew that Manchester United have got problems with their wing backs, so they had to change their right and left wingers. Brandon Johnson, he was played on the right. Then on the left, Udogie, you could, come inside. Pedro Porro as well, coming inside, attacking from inside rather than attacking from wide areas. And Tottenham were dangerous, especially on set pieces. One of their goals came from the corner kick, and it was a set piece. So Manchester United season, I think, of finishing, especially in the top 4,
no chance.
Yeah, might be ending very soon. Yeah, with the way they were playing yesterday, Wan-Bissaka, I don't know exactly which position can he be played, because he's not a wing back. I thought maybe Nekukura achanga achichinja, or kwenda notamba pa center back, because he's good, especially in terms of one-on-one situations. But playing from wide areas, for me, Kanochita 1 assist or 2 assists in 5 years. That's Rukuzo. Kutoshoresa mahuma wing back anenga itamba kwakwe. I'm telling you, imagine Pedro Porro. I think it's his first season at Tottenham. But if you look at the way he's playing now, for me, maybe behind Trent Alexander-Arnold comes Pedro Porro. But at the moment, maybe Pedro Porro will be ahead of Trent. Why? Because of playing as a right back. Because Trent most of the time is playing in the midfield. So for me, Pedro Porro, I think, is the best right back in all the top 5 leagues.
Question here, the high sports team. I have a question. Why is AFCON yakatambwa in 2019 instead of 2020? Ndanzwa muchiti Algeria 2019 champions. Yes, there was an AFCON that was held in June and July of 2019 that Algeria won. That one was held in Egypt, if I remember correctly. So yes, Algeria won that AFCON back in 2019. Anzi, hello sports team. Here is my prediction. Cameroon 2, Guinea 1, Algeria 2, Angola 2. Douglas Ngulinzashe Saurombe in Nkulumane then Walayo. Thank you for that one. Anzi, why is the English Premier League so harsh on Everton and Nottingham Forest in terms of breaching financial fair play policy, yet City is a culprit? Yes, I think that's a very good question. The thing is, Everton in particular actually managed to, shall we say, plead guilty to those charges that they were facing from the Premier League. Manchester City are denying those charges. They will have their day in front of an independent regulatory commission there, where they'll actually pass through the evidence. But Everton and Forest are not denying that they've breached the policies. Manchester City are denying. So I think that's the big difference when it comes to those two different cases. Anzi beta pa Dimbare Apo. I think a Dimbare fan is happy to hear about those transfers. Anzi, only names left in some big team. I'm not too sure exactly what you want to say there. Ikechukupa Cheaton, if you can try and explain that to us on the Monday Night Sports Extra. And the Senegono Gonoktora Chinu Ichi, considering the way they are playing Belamash in Southlands. Thank you for that one. And then a last message for tonight. Anzi, for Tottenham, I don't think it's about depth. I think it's more to do with the coach having a working system, which is players just get in and fit in well, something that is missing at Manchester United. I completely agree with that assessment. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, big thanks to David Sengu as well as Simba Chiminya for joining me on today's edition of the Daily Sports Zone. David and I will be back as well with Chief Koti for the Monday Night Sports Extra this evening, 9:15 after Faith on Trial. We'll be taking your calls and reading your messages. It is your show. You will be driving the agenda. You'll be telling us exactly what you want to talk about. I know AFCON will be high on the agenda. A few transfers, of course, Dynamos, Highlanders. I'm sure some Caps United fans want to ask David what's going on there at Makepe. So yes, indeed, do tune in at 9:15 for the Monday Night Sports Extra. Myself, David Sengu, Chief Koti, will be with you then. Until then, I will be back on the Daily Sports Zone tomorrow evening, 6:05 down to 6:30, right here on Star FM, your first choice for sport.
You've been listening to the Daily Sports Zone. Star FM, sounding good all the time.
This program was brought to you by Copy Spare Parts Distributors Private Limited, suppliers of genuine motor vehicle parts and accessories. Our product range includes suspension components, service kits, engine components, lubricants, timing components, brake and clutch components, body parts and accessories. Copy Spares, making the whole nation drive.